find me in the middle of the map, right in the center. I'm a saint right now, but we all born sinners. Take a couple L's if you wanna be a winner. When I think about the beat, synonymous with dinner. I've been eating too long, still starving.
What is up, my friends? What is happening? It is good to see you again. My name is Brandon Osborne, aka Control for Days. This is Dr. Yawgmoth's Clinic, where we take you through different matches with the deck Black-Green Yawgmoth in Modern and teach you how to navigate those matchups, how to win, how not to lose, how to be successful with this deck. The reason we've chosen this deck is because it's a deck I'm fairly proficient with. Had a good deal of success, no big tournament finishes, but I haven't played any big tournaments with it. But on Moto, my win rate is absurdly high, and for that reason I feel like I am qualified to show you the ropes with this deck. I've been saying it for quite some time. I think this is secretly the best deck in the format, and at the time I'm recording this, it is Sunday evening on April 24th, and Yawgmoth just won both of the Modern challenges this weekend, and not only that, occupied both of the top 2 slots in the Sunday challenge. So it's been on the up and up. It's been winning a lot recently, and I think it's just a testament to how strong this deck is. So let me show you the ropes and show you how to navigate with this deck. We are on the draw. We have a solid 7-card hand. It has pretty much everything we'd want. A Grist, maybe an Undier, but I think it's pretty strong. So we're gonna keep this 7-card hand. If you saw the intro to this video, you know what we're playing against. I don't know at this time, but I will find out shortly. All right, so it's looking like a blue-red Murktide variant. They've been splashing white, some have been splashing green more recently. Prismatic Ending, Tarmogoyf for some cards that have been seen in these lists. This hand lines up pretty well against what they're doing. Yeah, it's nothing crazy, but it's good enough. Got a little bit of ramp. We have the endurance, which is really strong against them. And we have basics, which actually matters because they do run Blood Moon in some instances. So having access to those things. Conversely, the downside of this hand is that they hit a turn 1 Dragon's Rage, which is their absolute best card against us, especially on the play. And I honestly think it's secretly the best card in their deck. It facilitates so much of what they want to do. Like, normally the way we win this matchup is we just don't let them put cards in their graveyard. We get a couple of threats out early, and then we just kind of sit on those until they're forced to do something, and then we can slip our spells in when they're being more reactive. So here, this is actually really good that they didn't kill our Hierarch. So all we're going to do is we're going to play out our land. I'm not going to play into a counter spell right now. And I'm just going to pass the turn. We'll see what they do. So they're thinking they're getting value here. But in reality, we're going to sneak our endurance in. So we're going to add a green, we're going to let the heat hit the graveyard, and then I'll cast my endurance. And this is a trade I am more than happy to make. And the fact that they left their mana up, to me, suggests they have a counter spell. That's a little unfortunate. Alright, so they got 2 cards in the graveyard. Better than 4 cards, that's for sure. But right now, as it stands, our threat's a little bit better than theirs is, so I think it's a good start. We also have Court of Calling, which is an instant speed spell, which is definitely very relevant for what we're trying to do. If they dump this Bauble into their graveyard... Alright, so this is interesting because they're going to have to attack with the Dragon's Rage. So they're going to run it into the Endurance unless they have an Unholy Heat and a land. It's just going to bite the dust to this Endurance. So maybe some improper sequencing depending on what their hand looks like right now. We shall see. And the fact that they tapped out, this leaves us open to, so to do some things on our turn. potentially get a Scavenging Ooze and start chipping away at their graveyard, which would be a decent thing. May or may not be what we choose to do here. Yeah, so, okay, so they have a land, which is fine. I'm going to definitely... Do I want to block? I think I want to block. I'll let them use their bolt here. I think getting Dragon's Rage off the board is really one of the most important things in this matchup, so I'm okay with making that trade here and now. They have the ability to get a Murktide out, which is tough for us if they have one. That actually isn't bad. So we're gonna play our Wall of Roots, our Wolf. And I think we'll play our Catacombs, and then the hope is that they don't have a counterspell up and we can get ourselves either a Yawgmoth or a or a Grist. Either or would be really strong. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's gonna be a 7/7. 7/7 is strong. Definitely want to tempt them to kill this Dryad Arbor. So we're gonna dangle that out there and see what they do. Didn't fall for it. After they've established Murktide, things definitely get pretty tricky. They have 3 cards in hand. Let's see how this goes. Geist isn't bad. Definitely doesn't get us all the way where we want to be. Counterspell. If they have another counter of some sort, that's bad news for us. They also run Spell Pierce, so there's a good chance that they have that, for which we can't pay, but I think this is the time we have to do something, so we'll see. Alright, they got it. So we're going to go down to 3 life. If they have a Bolt, we will just lose here. Let's see what they have. They have another counterspell, we'll just lose. Okay, so Evo gets us the Grist, which we can use to get rid of the Murktide. We'll see if they have a counterspell. See it. Okay, they have it. So the other thing we could potentially draw into is a Birds of Paradise. Should have tapped my mana differently. Alright, so we can get a bird here. Is there anything else I can get? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bird will at least give me a blocker here. Buy me a turn. Counterspell. They do. They are chock full of counters. Alright, so we are down a game. That happens on the play, especially with a turn 1 Dragon's Rage. It just puts us on our back foot so hard. Sideboarding. I like these cards. I definitely do not like Evolutions. That is getting countered more times than not. Above and beyond that, I think we shave some number of hierarchs, at least one. Ideally, we're operating at instant speed or with some interaction on the front end of what we're doing here. So whether it's Veil of Summer or Thoughtseize, and then you know, Court of Calling, Endurance, those are kind of our key cards here. Yeah, I think we're shaving a second hierarch. And we're going with that. So this is definitely a very skill-intensive matchup. It can be very challenging, but I think we're favored in this matchup, but it's not one that's easy to navigate. And if they have a good draw, they're a very strong deck, so they can definitely give you a run for your money. So I like this hand. I like having Undyers in this matchup. Puts a quick clock and it blocks pretty much every creature they have. So we are happy with those. I think we're gonna shock here. Play out our Young Wolf. Young Wolf, aka the Ragavan Stapper. Okay, so the fact they played out the Bauble here and now means they do not have a Dragon's Rage, which is really good for us. Fetch for a basic. Play around Blood Moon, preserve our life total a little bit. Definitely want to have Blood Moon on your radar. Haven't seen it much in this matchup recently, but I definitely don't want to fall victim to that if I can help it. Okay, we got disconnected for a moment. We are back. Not sure where we are. I think it's during our opponent's turn. Alright, we're back. They played out a land and then passed the turn. They also know the top card of our library, so they knew that the Blood Artist was there. Yeah, we're just gonna swing. I think I'm okay with playing the Blood Artist into a counter spell here. I'm not too concerned about that. I'll let them counter that if they want to. Okay, cool, that's fine. Dress down. I think they're just filling up their graveyard, and I mean they'll nab one of our Undyers here, likely the Geist, but it's not that big a deal. At least one of them. Okay, that's fine. That was actually the worst creature of ours. At 2. Also fine. Alright, so we want to hit a land. We did not hit a land, which is bad. Alright, we'll swing for 1, and then we're going to Thoughtseize. Let's see what they're working with here. Okay, Murktide, iteration. I mean, we can deal with this if we get rid of their graveyard with an Endurance. We can get rid of all this stuff, but I don't know that I want to put myself in that position. So we really need to hit a 3rd land drop here. I think our opener had 2 lands and we haven't drawn one since, so we need to find a land. That is the key. Dragon's Rage into iteration. Let me make this so you can see this. This is their hand here. And then the exile is going to be here. Dump a Consider into the graveyard. I think they're looking for a land here. Card in hand. Okay. Can we get a land? One time. Alright, we got there. That's really important. Okay, so here we're going to play our land out. We're going to swing with our Yawgmoth. Interesting block. Okay. That is good by me. Get another basic. Play out our Endurance. And we will trade. Getting rid of their Dragon's Rage. I think that is a favorable trade for us. They have another iteration. I think they're kind of searching at this point. They need to find something fairly impactful to have a shot from this point forward. Another Dragon's Rage, that is fine. Another land, they have 2 cards in hand. Okay, we're going to swing to start with. Put them down to 8. Having Endurance at instant speed here is a pretty big game. So if they cast anything end step, we'll be able to Endurance. And they might even just crack the Islet. And this might even warrant a scoop from them. It's all about regulating their graveyard. If they don't have a graveyard, it's really hard for them to win. They're in a position at this point where they kind of need to chump block. We have 8 power, they have 8 life. Okay, we'll bring the beats. See what they got. There's the block. 3 life. We're going to play out another Yawgmoth. I'm not going to play Yawgmoth into a counter here. That's fine. I think they're just trying to get a Murktide into play, which is, I think, too little too late. Anything we do at this point is lethal, so any creature. This is their 3rd iteration, I believe. Unholy Heat deals with one of our creatures. And I think they'll be able to actually... Okay, not enough. Did not get there. On to game 3. It was a little bit sketchy. A little sketchy. I think our configuration is the way we're going to keep it. Let's see if we can actually get our lands on curve here. Hand looks good. We will keep. See how this goes. And I think with this hand, we might actually lead with a turn 1 Thoughtseize into Wall of Roots and Ignoble. Alright, we got another land, which I like. So I think we're going to lead with that. They're on a 6-card hand, it looks like. Ooh, they have Fury. That is good to know about. Okay, so we're going to get rid of the Fury, I do believe. All these cards are really, really good to know about, so I think that's the way we're going to play this. They don't have a 3rd land. They might even just drop the Dress down and try to cantrip into a 3rd land. Right now, I think we're good on lands. I don't think we want any more of those. Hopefully they didn't draw a counter spell. Alright, so that's good. And I think I'm gonna hold the Ignoble for now. I'm going to minimize how effectively they can use their mana. Okay, they got their third land, so they have the Archmages if they want it. Play out our Marsh. We will pass the turn. Good old-fashioned game of draw go right now. There's an iteration. I think we'll let that resolve. I'm going to try to bait out a lightning bolt here and let them use their resources. Mana is pretty good at this point. They have their graveyard. Let's see what they have from here. So we'll fill up a little bit here. Two card types. Bolt the Hierarch, which was expected. And we'll just start applying some pressure with this Endurance here. You know, I might even let them use the Archmage Charm on the Giralfs, just so I can try to sneak the Yawgmoth in here. Is that what I want to do? Or do I just sit and be patient? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean, if this bird sticks around, I could potentially cast Giralfs into Yawgmoth. Let's start with that. Let's start with the bird. Okay, bolt the bird. Reasonable. This feels like a Murktide. Doesn't feel like a Murktide. We're going to fetch out another black source just so we have mana to cast the Giralfs if need be. I like that. They have the Dress Down, they have the Archmage's Charm, so we need to be mindful of both of those things. Thinking about casting the Dress Down. I think this is enough pressure. I don't think we need to cast anything else right now. You know, the threat of Yawgmoth looming is enough for them to kind of be playing this a little bit conservatively here. They drew the card off of Consider. Dress Down. I think they're going to go Dress Down into some sort of bolt effect. Or, no, this is a Murktide. Okay. Seven Murktide. The fact we only have 3 black mana is problematic, but try to bait with this guy. It's fine. Pretty good. This is a close game. It's going to come down to the wire, I think. Let's see what they pull out of exile here. Got 3 card types in the graveyard. Kind of giving me the vibe of another Archmage's Charm. It's kind of the what I am anticipating. Okay, how do we win this game? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Let's see what they do here. Alright, I think we're going to try to dump their graveyard now. Let's see if they blow a counter on this. Alright, so we're going to get our Grist down. Okay, our Grist resolved. I had gotten disconnected for a moment for the millionth time. We are going to sacrifice our Wall of Roots. Kill this Murktide. I think the way we lose this is if they have another Murktide. We shall see. Okay, to me that suggests they are lacking. They don't have a threat, is what that tells me. Okay, the fact that our Grist stuck around is really, really good for us. We're gonna uptick here. Get our token, we'll swing in with the Endurance, put them down to 2. I'm hoping they tap their mana here, and I'll get rid of their graveyard again. We shall see. We got the match. A very close match. I think it was a good example of how it kind of plays out though. Being able to operate at instant speed, baiting certain spells, playing the more relevant spells second, getting them to commit their mana on their turn, and then only giving them the option of countering one spell on our turn is generally how it works and how you win. Being on the play is very relevant. Them not having a turn 1 DRC, also very relevant. And I don't think they had one this game, and you kind of saw how the game played out as opposed to game 1, which they did have one, and it was just such a quick clock and such a quick, it's so much tempo for them that it's really, really hard to climb back from the Yawgmoth side of the table. So we're favored in this matchup. I think this was a good representation of what typically happens. So hopefully you got a little insight on how to play it and how to navigate kind of the specifics of it, because it is a very tricky matchup. With that being said, checking out, make sure you hit the subscribe button if you have not done so already. Give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment below if there's anything you would have done differently or anything you want to comment on. Feel free to share your thoughts. Additionally, there are resources in the comments or in the description. There's a sideboard guide, 2 of them, one that's expanded, one that's condensed for your deck box. There is a stat sheet, all of my stats with the deck. You can kind of look over how I do with different lists and how I do in certain matchups to get an idea of maybe some of the numbers you should be putting up. And then I've started to write a primer for this deck, like immense detail about all of the ins and outs of playing this deck. First 2 parts are live on my Patreon. Head over there, link is in the description, go check that out. And if you want to support me further, any and all subscriptions to my Patreon are greatly supported. So thank you for anybody that has done that. And if you are planning on it, I greatly appreciate it. So thank you. That being said, I'm done. Brandon Osborne, Control for Days. I will see you next time. Be well.